market. The stock market took a major dip this morning, and you probably woke up and looked at your portfolio and almost wanted to cry. Well, I'm going to break it down for you and let you know what's going on with the stock market and kind of let you know what to look out for. So, we're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel. Hit the thumbs up button. We're going to get started right now. Hey, good morning, Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to the BlackFinancialChannel.com. On the Black Financial Channel, we are obsessed with Black wealth and closing the wealth gap and generational wealth and all the things that matter when it comes to economics, particularly Black economics. And we also operate under the B1 philosophy. B1 means that we are Black first. Doesn't mean you have to be Black to be here, but it does mean that we put our community at the top of the priority list. Also, B1 means that we must be one in order to be successful. B1 also believes or means that we believe that our children will be number one when it comes to wealth building within the next 50 years. If you agree with this philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number one in the chat, hashtag B1. Put a hashtag B1 on your refrigerator. Let your kids know that you matter and that you want to put yourselves at the top of the priority list. All right, so do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Good morning, Terry Cobb and Wendell and Ty Thomas and Britton Hayes and Nomo King and Jay Shelton. My name is Corey, DJ Ready With It. Chanel Simmons, Teresa Campbell. Good morning, good morning. Emmanuel says, bring that education, Uncle Boyce. Well, I'm about to bring it right now. So how many of you, give me a yes or no, give me a yes or no. How many of you got up this morning and looked at your stocks and either wanted to punch the wall or maybe you wanted to cry or maybe you wanted to curl up in a little ball and just kind of wait for it to all go away? How many of you were feeling kind of, give me a yes if you woke up kind of disturbed by what you saw in your stock portfolio. Give me a yes. And I imagine there's gonna be a lot of yeses coming through because today was a tough day. Ice Cube had that song. Today was a good day. Ice Cube. He's the homie. He's been on this platform many times. He had that song. Today was a good day. Which, by the way, I had to tell him. I said, that was one of my least favorite songs you ever did. Straight Out of Compton and Dope Man. Those were my favorite songs. But today was a good day. I get it though. And so today we had the opposite of the Ice Cube song. Today was not a good day. Today is a bad day. But then again, you can't, if you don't go through the rain, you can't appreciate the sunshine. And right now it's raining pretty bad. Now, the big question right now you have to ask yourself is the stock market sick with a cold, or does it have pneumonia? Does it have HIV? Like what's going on right now? Why are we having these flu-like symptoms right now? Stock market has a lot of flu-like symptoms, and you don't know what you're seeing, right? And so because this could be a buying opportunity, right? This could be a chance to get in cheap and good with a lot of companies that are strong, solid American companies that you can buy on the cheap right now if you happen to have some extra cash laying around, things like that. Now, to give you the short answer to that question, in terms of do I believe that this is a buying opportunity, the answer is yes. And that's only because historically, corrections and crashes, if you buy more during corrections and crashes, that tends to boost your long-term earnings, right? Now, here are some factors though that are kind of happening right now with the market that you may want to be aware of, the things you want to think about as you're making your investment decisions, things like that. Hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to switch my screen real quick. And by the way, we have workbooks and flashcards for your kids. If you want to take a look, you can go to financialworkbooks.com. The URL's on the screen. All right, so here are a few thoughts that I wanted to sort of lay out there. So today, the word for today would be FUD, F-U-D, like Elmer Fudd. FUD stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And also, another word is consumer confidence. So right now, you have this thing called the Delta variant. And the Delta variant, you've probably heard it in the media, is basically a variation of the virus that apparently is infecting a lot of people. It's a lot more infectious. It's making people nervous. It's making people very nervous, and it's creating a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen next. Right, so it's not like we know for sure something bad's going to happen. Think of it. Imagine if somebody pulls a gun on you, right? That's pretty scary, right? But it's not like they shot you. They didn't shoot you. And it's also not like they told you they were going to kill you. Sometimes if they tell you, if they go ahead and tell you what they're going to do, then that's a little bit better than you not knowing what they're going to do, right? Or if they or sometimes I remember that show, remember that movie, Dead Presidents, when the guy pulled out the gun on Lorenz Tate and he said, just shoot me right now. Just shoot me right now. Well, basically, in that situation, I saw that as like, look, let's just get rid of the uncertainty, because the uncertainty of whether you're going to shoot me or not is what bothers me right now. So let me, either you're going to shoot me or you're not, right? Well, that's the way the market kind of operates now. We don't know how bad things are. We don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know what the Delta variant is going to look like in the fall. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that we wish we could resolve about this Delta variant. And the uncertainty centers around things like, will schools be closed or not? Because I'm gonna tell you like this: if they shut down schools and start shutting down daycares again, because kids carry germs like pigs on the farm. Like they carry germs like nobody's. My brother had two kids. He got two babies that are under the age of 2, and he stays with a cold, right? So we know that if they shut down schools, shut down daycares, that's going to murder your stocks, because that means people can't go to work, which is a complete disruption to the labor supply. There are also significant supply chain disruptions that have occurred. A lot of the inflation that's been seen lately is driven by shocks to the supply chain, where you have a lot of people, that can't get, or companies that can't get their stuff. They can't get microchips. The microchip shortage is really the big one. That's the one that's causing a severe national security issue, a long-term national security issue. But then there's other stuff that just can't. Everything gets shipped across the world and all this other stuff, and all these disruptions to the supply chain may get worse because of the Delta variant. That's going to push up prices, which makes it harder to do business, which is going to hit your stocks pretty hard. Also, you have an issue over in the Middle East. OPEC, the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries, which is a group of countries that decide how much oil to supply to the world. They decided to ramp up the supply. So when they decided to increase the supply, right when it looks like there's all this economic uncertainty, when there might be actually a slowdown, is pretty disconcerting, because what that's going to do is, if you own stocks in any of these oil companies, you're going to get your butt kicked over there too. I'm sorry to those of you who own Exxon or Chevron or any of these other companies. Most of them got hit pretty hard. Also, over in the Reddit space, when you've got people buying these meme stocks, I've been mentioning to you guys for quite a while that I'm not a big fan of taking meme stocks seriously, and a lot of people got offended, rightfully so, because they think that people like me who come along with the sort of warning them about the dangers of an investment. Yeah, of course we're just haters or whatever, right? You're a hater until everything that you mentioned actually comes true, and then suddenly people are like, oh, maybe I should have paid attention. Well, if you recall, we've been mentioning it for a long time here that if you play with meme stocks, you know, uh, you just play with them. You don't take, you don't go, looking at a meme stock as a long-term investment is like a man going to a strip club and coming home and saying, Mom, I met my wife tonight. I met my wife. Her name is Peaches, and she could twerk at 120 miles an hour. Like that's not a wife. That's not somebody you should be marrying. So, but if you want to go to the strip club, that's on you. And the reason I compare it to that is because when you talk about these meme stocks, there's nothing significant or serious about any of these meme stocks, most of them anyway. Not all of them, but most of them. When you talk about AMC, let me just tell y'all, just keeping it 100, AMC is a garbage company. Hey, all the research that I'm finding out about AMC says that company is complete trash. Literally, there was an analyst who said, I would not touch AMC because not only have they not made hardly any money in the last 3 years, but they're not projected to make money in the next 3 years. Why in the hell would you buy into a stock that has no has a terrible past and no prospects for the future? Right? That's just like, again, like dating and marriage and relationships. I tell people all the time, if you invest in a person, like just like a stock, if you invest in a person, you got to look at, okay, what is your track record, who you are, what are you doing right now, and then what are you going to be doing in the future? So imagine, your daughter or your son bringing home a child, bringing home somebody that they're going to marry who has a terrible past, done been locked up 18 times, killed a couple people, blew all their money. They're deep in debt and isn't doing anything right now except sitting at home, maybe in his drawers, smoking weed and playing Xbox, and has no prospects for the future. That person would not be a good investment for your child, male or female. So ultimately, AMC is a bad, bad, bad investment. The only thing AMC is good for is if you are good at predicting how stupid people are going to be at any given point in time. If you can predict stupidity, which stupidity is really hard to predict. Some stupid people, some of them are pretty predictable, but some of them, their stupid kind of goes in and out. But ultimately, if you look at AMC right now, go look it up, go Google it, go look up what the price has been doing. Those people have been getting killed financially, and all these people thought AMC was going to the moon. It ain't going to the moon. It's going back down to below $20 a share. And why is that? Well, because now things are getting real. Now the market is starting to get to the point where you're separating the men from the boys and the women from the girls. Now, the market is going to reward people that have resilience, that take the time to buy quality companies that are consistent in their investing strategy. It's not going to this sort of fly by night, quick money culture that developed during the pandemic. Okay, the stock market is not a casino. Let's remember that. Now, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. And also, I want to remind you guys on Wednesday, we do our book club and we're reading Dr. Claude Anderson's books. We're doing Black Labor, White Wealth right now. Next, we're going to do Powernomics. So if you'd like to join us, you can get free access to my life class. It's $1,000 value. You can actually join for free. Right now, I decided to make it free because I want as many people in there as possible to learn the things that we're covering. So feel free to go to blackkeystogreatness.com. That's blackkeystogreatness.com. I'm also going to invite in one of the individuals we've contracted with, a group of of expert hotel acquisition experts who are buying black owned hotels all around the United States or making them black owned. And so they're forming investment groups. And I wanted to invite one in to do a Q&A with the students to see if you'd like to join the investment groups. They've got access to a lot of deals that the public doesn't have access to, and you may want to get involved. But this is more for people that have a little bit of capital to invest, and that's what it is. Okay, so Monica Bless Silver says Michelle Martin. I know Michelle Martin. She's an awesome lady. Let's see. Is AAL a good long-term investment? American Airlines. Well, let me just say this. American Airlines is one of those companies that did get pumped up a little bit by the meme stock frenzy. American Airlines, I know, last time I checked, got a big hit this morning. A lot of the airlines got hit pretty hard. A lot of the cruise ships got hit pretty hard. So those might be good things to buy into, particularly if you're planning to hold long term. The big challenge that you may have is if this downturn is significant in the sense that it causes significant disruptions to the ability of the economy to fully reopen, then you could see further declines. A lot of people felt that stocks were already overvalued to begin with. They were hyperinflated. SPACs are probably the biggest financial tragedy out there because SPACs exist mainly because there were people who were basically out there while the getting was good. They said, okay, people are crazy. They'll spend anything to buy a stock. So we'll just put out these garbage companies and get people to give us their money. Well, now a lot of these SPACs are getting body slammed right now. So you got to be really careful with that. Let me see here. Um, let's see. Queen My Girl TV says, "What is your expert advice on getting more YouTube subscribers? I notice you have 280,000, or are they purchased subscribers? Not trying to be funny, just a serious question." No, no, Queen, I did not purchase the subscribers. It's consistency. I've been doing videos every single day, 7 days a week, pretty much for about 10 years now. Maybe it's 8 years, 9 years. I don't know. The biggest mistake I made was that I had I had 5 YouTube channels in 2007, and they were growing pretty fast, but I just kind of stopped doing it, and and I didn't pick it up again until 2013. And I wish I had been consistent with YouTube back, in 08, 09, because then I'd probably have a few million. But all my and I have multiple channels. So Your Black World has about 440,000, and the Black Financial Channel has about 150,000. So combined across the board with all the channels we're connected to, we probably have about 1 million subscribers. And the reason we put our energy into building YouTube and other platforms is because back when I used to go on CNN back in 2008 or so, I had some issues in terms of the fact that I was a little bit too black for them. I'm a little too black for comfort because I'm not Democrat or Republican, which right there is going to lead to alienation from both major parties, right? Republicans think I'm a Democrat. Democrats think I'm a Republican. So I don't really fit into anybody's box, nor do I care to. So when you do that, though, when you decide you want to be ruthlessly independent, you got to realize that means you have to build your own stuff. So we built our own platforms. We worked extremely hard to connect to all the intelligent black people that are out there. And honestly, that's not really all black people. About 70, at least half of the black community isn't even paying attention to what I'm saying, and don't care, don't want to hear it, whatever, right? But I'm not looking for that half. I'm looking for the half that gets what we're saying. So that's the model. That's the thought process. That's what it is. All right. So let's see here. Musa Noir says, "Do you think the consumer discretionary will be moving sideways for the rest of the quarter?" I don't know exactly, but I will say that consumer confidence is taking a hit because of inflation and uncertainty around this Delta variant. When people are scared, money gets lost. Two ways money gets lost. One is when people are scared. Two is when people are fighting. So whenever there's war and fighting, stock prices drop, and whenever there's fear and uncertainty, prices drop. So it's just like, think about it like relationships. The reason I'm fascinated by talking about relationships is not just because relationships are the key to wealth. Real wealth builders understand that. Non-wealth builders don't get that, and they just think they're broke just because. But relationships are critical, and the thing about relationships is that relationships require a lot of trust and a lot of peace. Like, if you have trust and you have peace, then you can have a happy relationship, whether it's with a man or a woman or your friends or your family. If everybody trusts each other and there's a peace flowing through the family, then you can get together and you can make investments together. You can invest in each other. You can support each other because there's no fear of being traumatized or being harmed. But when the trust is gone, you're scared, right? So in a relationship, if you're scared, you're not going to really put your all into the relationship because you're scared of being traumatized. That's where you get the men that say, "Oh, these women ain't, screw, forget these women. These women are terrible, blah blah blah." And that's where you get the women who basically think, men are horrible people, right? Or you have relatives that can't work together in a business because they don't trust each other. Well, I don't like my cousin because he might steal my money, right? Or if there's a lot of fighting back and forth and bickering, money isn't being made. That's why when in mafia families, whenever there's a big fight, they always have a sit down and they say, "Let's stop fighting so that we can start making money again," right? So if you want to ever have prosperity, just know that trust, peace, and prosperity go hand in hand. They're like siblings with one another. So if you ever want to have an environment where everybody can prosper, create an environment of trust and an environment of peace where we're supporting each other, we love each other, we trust each other, and then you'll find things will start to flourish. I guarantee it. All right, so Gabrielle, hey Doc, what do you think about BlackBerry? BlackBerry was a meme stock. I haven't looked at BlackBerry in a while, so I can't give you a definitive opinion on it. But one thing that my students do in the Black Stock Market program is they send me questions like that, and I look them up, and I answer the question in class. We meet for class every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, so we're going to be together tomorrow. And you can send me questions in advance. I answer every single question that every single student sends. So, and the first month is free. So, if you'd like to join the Black Stock Market Program, you can go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com and join us in class. Leave me your questions. I tell you all my stock picks, and there's 5 years of curricula and all kinds of stuff in there that'll help you in your journey. So feel free to take a look at the class. It's the best class out there. I've never seen a class better than this because I know what I taught at Syracuse University. This gives us a lot more flexibility when we operate online. Let's see here. Do you still practice Susu? I don't. I'm not into Susu. But I did do a video on Susus, which I think are fine as a good savings vehicle. Not so much for investing, but they are good for savings. All right. So anyway, guys, let me see. I'm gonna make sure I mention every quick point here. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. The final point I'll make on this is that I believe there's gonna be a lot of transition over to FANG stocks. Facebook, Amazon, Alphabet, Netflix, and Google. I think stay-at-home stocks might get a boost because there's this concern about the Delta variant. I don't believe that the country wants another lockdown. I think that there's going to be a lot of resistance. Even though the Delta variant's contagious, there are a lot of people who feel that even though a lot of people can get it, a lot of people aren't dying from it. And that's the thing. And I'm in the same camp. If you can't show me a ton of hospitalizations and deaths, I'm just going to see it as just another thing. I'm sure there's 1,000 viruses out here that people get, that the common cold is everywhere. Flus are everywhere, right? But we're not going to shut down the world over the flu, even though people die. Thousands of people die from the flu every year. Now, I know comparing that virus to the flu is not politically correct, and I agree with that. I know it's much more severe, but we've got a ton of shots that you can take and medicines and the technology. We've invested probably $100 billion or more into solving this one problem. As Rowan says, now there's a lambda variant. They're gonna use the whole alphabet by the time that they're done. Rowing, I just really believe that by the time they're done, they're gonna have about 20 different variants because everyone's obsessed with this particular virus. Here's where I get off the bus, and I'm not telling you to agree with me. I'm just gonna tell you where I get off the bus. Here's what I look for when I read stories about these variants. My question is, how many people died? Did you die though? Tell me how many people don't. Don't tell me how many cases there are. I don't. That's not cases is not the same as hospitalization, which is not the same as death. Show me out of for every 1,000 people who get it, how many of those people died. So if you tell me that out of every 1,000 who get it, 10 of them die, and half of them are over the age of 80, that's not gonna keep me from getting out of bed that morning. That's not going to keep me from going and getting on an airplane. That's not going to keep me from handling my business, right? The only factor at that point you have to sort of pay attention to is fear, and is there enough fear in other people that they're not going to get up and handle their business, right? Because fear is a huge ever present factor in financial markets, and because the market has been so powerful, so overconfident, so much money's being made. It's been so easy to make so much money, then a lot of people don't know what fear looks like. And when you put them in a real situation like this, where they really watch their portfolio drop 20%, and they're not feeling as rich and as confident as they were before, how are they going to respond? Because I'm telling you, money gives you confidence. Money makes you feel like you can do no wrong. Money makes you think everything's going to be great. But then you take that money away, what happens then? And in a way, remember, I told you guys that one of my areas of expertise in my PhD was financial psychology. And one thing about money is that the way money affects the brain is money affects the brain like cocaine. So cocaine, if you read up on it, it causes people to have extreme confidence, and all the endorphins are rushing, so they feel good and they feel strong and things are great. So when the high wears off, what happens? They start to feel depressed. They start to feel like they can't operate without their drug, etc., insecure, all these things, right? So that's kind of what money does. So now you're starting to see psychological effects from people that were maybe 6 months ago they were screaming, AMC to the moon, but now they're kind of sitting back like, damn, like I need to count my chips because I might not be able to pay my rent, right? So that's kind of what I'm paying attention to is sentiment. How is I know how I feel about this, but how does the rest of the world feel about this? That's going to be a huge factor in all of this. All right, let me see here. Do you have any? Hit the thumbs up button. If everybody could please hit the thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it. Should I sell my AMC? I'm not going to tell you what to do, Beat Man, but I sold my AMC. I messed with it for a while, and I made good money on it because I sold options on it. But then I decided to take my family money and do something better with it. Is it true that when you lose, it's like having withdrawal? Says Brandon. Yeah, kind of like dating a really pretty girl and then she dumps you, and then you're kind of sad. You feel like you're missing out or somebody took something from you. So yeah, you probably do have withdrawal when you lose money. They're trying to force people back to work. Yeah, Philip, I don't doubt that. I mean, they need people to go to work, right, for the economy to operate. But people don't want to go back to work, and I've been telling you guys for a long time that I don't believe any black person. I believe that the best thing you could do for your children is to put them in a position right now where they'll never have to work for anybody, because they'll be incredibly happy, they'll be incredibly free, they'll get to live. It'll be like not working is like living three lives at once. It's like living to be 180 years old. Because if you think about it, if you spend 40 hours a week at your job and 5 days a week, so 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, 2,000 hours a year, that's 20,000 hours every decade, or about 80,000 hours over a 40-year career. So if you don't have to go to work, you're kind of getting a big chunk of that 80,000 hours back. 80,000 hours, you can do a lot with 80,000 hours. I mean, think about it. Most people spend more time at work than they spend with their own family, right? So if you can get your child out of their job, that's like that's like that's like the feeling like, remember how good you used to feel when you got to miss school when there was a snow day, and then you get to stay home and you get to sleep in, and you stay up, and I remember staying up, and I would get up and I'll be able to watch all the TV shows I couldn't see when I was at school, like the Jeffersons and stuff, or go to the mall, and it's nobody there, and it's whatever, like that, like it was like a whole new world, right? So I personally think that working is something that should be optional for any wealth building family in here. Your children should see working as optional. And all of you have the option of doing that. If you don't know how to do that, and you don't know the first steps, take a look at my $5 a day investing program. If you have children that are under the age of 10, this can help you put them in a position where they'll be fine. They'll be free. So it's free. The book is free. It's an ebook on the $5 a day investing plan. You can go to the allblackagenda.com. That's the URL on the screen. Just take a look at the book. It's the math is straightforward. This is what I do. This stuff is easy for me. This is what I taught college students for 20 years. Um, when AMC moons, are you going to say you were wrong? Yes, I will. If AMC goes to the moon, then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sit back and just humble myself. I'm gonna have FOMO like a mug. I'm gonna sit back and say, "My God, I wish I believed you, and had bought AMC because I'd have all that money just like you." So I'm not hating on anybody who loves AMC. I'm just telling you what I see. I can't apologize for the truth. Um, let's see here. Uh, wow. So okay, so Alfred says, "Wow, you sold all AMC, never in a million years, and you talk about setting a future for your children. LOL, what a joke." Oh God, okay, Alfred, I wish you the best, brother. I hope you make a ton of money with AMC. But I will say to you, I'm not a fan of AMC. Now, I could be wrong about it though. I could be wrong. How about this? I will check in once a week, and we're gonna look at AMC and see where it is. I'm just going to tell you, I can only tell you about the results of the research I've done. And I've read analyst reports and looked at their revenue, looked at their debt levels. AMC's big problem is they have massive amounts of debt, and they haven't yet shown the ability to compete with all the streaming services. But maybe that's going to change. But I know that they are certainly opportunistic. They're certainly taking advantage of the fact that their stock price is high, because if you notice, they issue new shares every chance they get. So every opportunity they get to dilute the value of the existing shareholders, every time they get an opportunity to dilute your shares, they're doing it. Go look it up. Every time AMC sees the stock going up, they start selling shares. Right? They're like, these people are paying what for our shares? Are you crazy? So I'm not telling you. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm not trying to. And again, I hope that we can disagree and not be, and not hate each other. But I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to go invest in AMC, especially since I wouldn't do it. Let me see. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. The BX says stop calling it a crash. It comes off as sensational nonsense. No, it's a pretty bad day today. That's not sensational, bro. I'm telling you. Right now the stock market. Let me see what's going on. Let me see where the market is right now. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. Let me see here. It dropped 500 points on fears of a COVID rebound. So does that technically define a crash? I got to go look up the specific definition of a crash. It's definitely in that correction territory. 500 points is a big deal. 500 points is a very big deal, and so no, it's not. This isn't just a typical day in the market. So, yeah, it might sound sensationalist, but again, I can't apologize for the truth. Let me see here. What do you think about the hedges that are shorting AMC? I don't really care about those companies, to be honest with you. I never understood why so many people are so offended by the existence of hedge funds. I just don't. I mean, think about this. How much does the average Reddit reader think about hedge funds on Wall Street? Who taught them to just get pissed off because hedge funds are making money by shorting a particular company? What do they care? What do they care? There's thousands of stocks in the market that you could buy. Why are you so angry that they're shorting one company out of thousands, that you somehow feel like you want to put your money on the line to fight against that? Like, I think that whole movement of like, oh, we're gonna stick it to the hedge funds and give up all of our money to do it. That was artificially created, in my view. I don't even know where that came from. It was weird. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. So yeah. So Eddie says, stop asking questions about AMC, please. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And I did have shares in AMC, but I'm done with AMC. I told you I bounced out. I also bounced out of Dogecoin. I messed around, and I reported to you guys what happened, and we lost money. The places I made money have been mostly in the solid companies with solid, a solid future and solid earnings. And that's why I'm gonna go back to stability in my portfolio, because you're probably going to enter into a period. You're entering into a period right now where things are going to get very uncertain. Let me see here. Okay, investing 1.4 million in dividend stocks can yield a monthly income generating $6,000 a month. A great legacy gift for your kid. Yeah, it can. It can. Yeah, and people do that. Now it takes a while to build a 1.4 million though, blank slate. So I think that if you're trying to teach your kid about wealth, I would actually focus also on teaching them things like entrepreneurship, in investing their extra income in stocks, and also owning real estate as soon as possible. Because what's been going on in the last 20 years that's caused wealth to grow in certain sectors is what they call asset inflation. Asset inflation is when there's such an increase in the money supply that it ends up pumping up the value of certain assets. And so if you don't own assets, then you're going to see your wealth kind of struggle, because everyone else is getting that little boost. They're getting that those financial steroids. Like a stockholder and a person that owns real estate in the last 15 years got rich just by owning the real estate, just by holding the stocks, because the asset values were inflated. They were pushed up by the increase in the money supply. But if you were a worker who has no assets, who makes no investments, then you're kind of stuck. You're not really getting the benefit of the inflation. So in a way, it's kind of like everyone else is in a car where all they have to do is push a little pedal and they go 100 miles an hour, and you're trying to compete with them on foot. And even if a person has a raggedy car, you still can't outrun them on foot. You could be the fastest man on earth and still not be able to outrun even a raggedy car, right? So that's why asset ownership is really important, and that's why you want to teach that to your kids, because the hardest way to make money is actually working. My name is Corey. Says Doc, is the Black Business School membership and the Stock Options Masterclass together or separate? The Stock Options Masterclass is separate, and actually the URL actually is stockoptionsmasterclass.com. So feel free to go take a look. And it's a masterclass I did. One other thing is, if you do take a look at the Black Business School, everything has a 30-day 100% money back guarantee. So all of our students are happy, because the ones that are not happy, if they email us, we will make it right. And if you want a refund, we'll give a refund. The last thing we want is for anybody to invest in what we're trying to do, and not be happy. And so that makes us different from other universities where you can't take your college degree back and say, cancel my student loans, I want a refund. They wouldn't do that, right? Because I don't think they have the confidence in what they gave you. They kind of understand that many people feel resentful over the fact that they took on all that debt to go to school, whereas we don't put you in debt. But even then, as we're trying to build a Black-owned university, I mean, we have the audacity to believe that if white people can own universities, Black people can too. So the Black Business School, I left Syracuse University, the faculty, in order to start the Black Business School, because I wanted to have a Black-owned university. I wanted all of us to have that. So as a result, we've partnered with a lot of millionaires, billionaires, real estate moguls, everybody across the board, from Dr. Claude Anderson to Julian Gordon, to our hotel mastermind experts, numerous attorneys, numerous entrepreneurs, stock market investors, etc. It's not just me; it's a whole team of dozens of people, and we are giving Black people a really high quality education at at a very affordable cost. 95% of the students in the Black Business School have paid less than $500, but yet they've learned more from us than they ever learned in college. And some people are in there for free. Some people are in premium programs, which have a higher price point. Like the hotel investing mastermind that we're doing right now has a higher price point because the experts were expensive to hire, and the deals are multi-million-dollar deals. So it's really only designed for people that have some extra cash they want to invest as part of these investment groups. But we also have things that are on a different scale, right? So there's different levels to it, and I love talking about the Black Business School. So in fact, the more people talk about it, the more I get to talk about it, right? So I'm not really concerned, when I see people that say, "Oh, this must be this must be a scam." I get that, right? There's not a lot of trust in Black businesses. A lot of people think that any Black business that's successful, oh, they must be doing something illegal or bad, and that's kind of sad, because a lot of white universities operate and they don't sort of get the same traction. But I encourage it. Like I encourage you to investigate and to ask me any question you want, and I will answer that question. because we have a mission. We're fulfilling it. We're doing it independent. We don't take any corporate money, and we take no government money. And so we built all of this, and we have thousands of children that are under the age of 10 who have a financial literacy level that exceeds the average college educated adult. And if you're a student in the Black Business School, please say something in the chat so other people will know exactly how great this is. Like, we're not just sitting here, yapping about it. I have a real PhD in this stuff, and I cooperate with other PhDs and other lawyers and experts to build something that I think is pretty great, and it's going to be around for the next 500 years, as far as I'm concerned. I put it in my will, in my estate plan. Actually, I have millions of dollars that I'm going to leave when I die, and though that most of that money is going to go to the Black Business School to continue the legacy. Willie says, why not start a brokerage? You can help a lot of people. I don't want to start a brokerage because that's not something I'm interested in, to be honest with you. It would take a lot of work. And also, I'm not real interested in being in the business of managing other people's money, because one of the things that can happen is if you're managing money for a lot of people, particularly in our community where the trust isn't that high, if one thing goes wrong, everybody wants to call you a crook. Everybody's going to say, I put my $400 into the fund and I didn't get my money and you're a thief. And I don't have time for that stuff. I think that's immature. I think it's crazy. I just, so there's a lot of weirdness that happens around, when you try to build Black businesses. And that's why Black businesses don't prosper, because they're growing in what I call bad economic soil. And that bad soil just comes from all the people that are determined to see Black businesses fail, that will go out of their way to sabotage a Black business and say nothing about a white business. Like, won't you check all their videos? They have nothing to say about white businesses, but Black businesses, it's like, that Negro, blah, 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 never met you, never did an investigation, never actually went and checked out the product, never actually checked out the company, none of that. It's just a jealousy thing. It's literally crabs in a barrel. It's like, I'm mad because you guys are making money and I'm not making money. And I know a lot of people deal with that, not just us. Earn Your Leisure, I'm sure they deal with that. I'm sure that the Black World Order and all these other groups that are doing really great work deal with that type of stuff. So we're not alone, but really, I actually think it's a good thing when people talk about it, because it's like, for people that really want to know, I say, yeah, come on in, do a free membership, give it a try. Just, let us know what you think. If you're not happy, the best we can do is say, if you're not happy, email our team. We have a whole team of people sitting there waiting to find out if you're happy. And if you're not happy, they will give you a refund. So there's no risk on you whatsoever. So feel free to take a look. Feel free to take a look. All right. And by the way, that's our kids program, blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. We built a whole Black business school for children in real estate, entrepreneurship, and stock ownership. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, feel free to take a look at that program. It's a very good program. Thousands of kids have been helped with this program. Okay, so let me see here. I'm white and I support Black business. Good, good. Yeah, well, just another thing too, a misconception is, not being Black does not mean that you can't come into um the Black business school. It's just like, because I'm Black doesn't mean I can't go to Notre Dame University, even though Notre Dame is an Irish Catholic school. They let anybody in, but they also let you know what their priority is. Their priority is that, that Catholicism is important for them, right? And so, as long as you don't disrespect Catholicism, you can go to Notre Dame, right? And same thing is true with the Black business school. As long as you don't disrespect the cause of Black people, and understand what our mission is, understand the urgency of our work, that we're solving the racial wealth gap, which actually is very easy to solve. It's very easy to solve the racial wealth gap. you know, as long as you respect that, then you can come in. I actually have a one of my daughters married a guy who wasn't Black. He's a white guy, and people are like, "Oh my God, doesn't that infuriate you that she married a guy who's white?" And or people on the internet that know you, they use that as a gotcha moment. Well, Boyce talks all this pro Black stuff, and his daughter married a white man. Well, first of all, I don't know about y'all, but where I come from, you can't pick who your children choose to marry. That's the first thing, right? I couldn't tell her like you cannot marry this person or you must marry that person. It ain't 1608. Like you can't do that. But then second of all, I had no problem with this kid because he respects our family. He respects who we are and what we represent. He doesn't come in. He didn't come in with white supremacy. Saying by basically saying, "Hey, I want you Negroes to come work for me." Then we would have had a problem. I don't hate white people. I don't hate anybody. I just don't want you telling me what to do and trying to control me, and oppressing me. You come in oppressing me, then we have a problem. But if you come in and you show respect and you kiss the pinky ring like he did, and he came in, he knew who was boss. He knew that this was our family. He knew we were running things. He wanted to be like us. He wasn't asking us to be like him. And I think that's really important to understand. As you're building a black business and you're building black wealth and you're being pro-black, why you got to walk around with a lot of hate in your heart? You don't have to hate anybody. Why would you? I mean, that to me is a sign of weakness anyway. That shows that you're kind of a white supremacist because you care deeply about what white people think about you. No, instead, love yourself. Just love yourself. And if anybody comes in and tries to control you or enforce white supremacy on you, you can just say, no, get out of my face with that stuff. So that's kind of where the ideology is. I don't get enough opportunities to really talk about it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I think it's important to kind of lay that out there so those who understand it can kind of actually hear it. So anyway, Songbird says, I'm interested in the Black Business School. However, what proof can you produce that you are in fact a millionaire? Can you show a redacted tax form or something? That's a great question, Songbird. I honestly don't like revealing my financial situation to the public. I just don't, because what happens is you have a lot of people that think that you're bragging and showing off. And also, I'm just generally not a materialistic person who defines himself based on how much money I make. The money I make is really more of it's more of a reflection of the values I carry as a man. It does not define me as a man. I all if you don't believe me, there's not much I can really do about that because I'm not one of those flashy guys who's going to be showing everybody my tax receipts and check stubs and all that. Because I've told you all 1,000 times. One thing that I think might make us a little different in terms of wealth discussions is I don't want you all to think of money as the be all end all. I'm not teaching you all this stuff so you can go buy a new Ferrari and make it rain at the strip club and buy Air Jordans, every time you want to or whatever. No, I'm really kind of explaining these things to you so you can actually have the freedom and the power that comes with economic strength and security. And so effectively, money is not the destination. Money is the tool to reach the destination. The destination is your happiness. The destination is being fulfilled. All I can say, and again, if you choose not to believe me, that's okay. I really, honestly, when you get real money, you don't want everybody knowing how much money you have. I actually really enjoy it when people try to say that I'm broke. I mean, on the internet, they list my net worth and somehow they figured they had a number that was actually not too far off. But they they list my net worth on the internet, on Celebrity Net Worth. I'm on there somewhere. I don't, and I don't, I wish it wasn't out there, but it's out there, whatever. But the truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, you can verify the things that I'm talking about. Like I have a real PhD in finance. Instead of verifying how much money I have, why not go verify my doctorate? Go read my dissertation. My dissertation's available on the internet. I graduated from the Ohio State University under the guidance of Professor Andrew Caroli, who's now, I believe he's the department chair of economics at Cornell University right now. David Hirschleifer, Jayanta Sen were also on my dissertation committee, and you can go check that part out. I think that's more relevant than what's in my bank account. I just don't have an interest in really telling everybody how much money I have because it just feels tacky and flashy and weird. And I'm the guy honestly who makes fun of those rappers who run around, wearing their money on their neck and showing everybody how much money they have. That to me that's like a woman that walks around with her breasts out and her booty out, because she doesn't have anything else other than her breasts and her booty. All she's got is her body, right? Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having a nice body. My wife has a great body. Her body, my wife, if she wanted to be a stripper, she could have been a stripper. If my wife wanted to be a trophy wife, she could have been a trophy wife. She was that beautiful. She's beautiful now, but she was gorgeous, really gorgeous in her 20s and 30s and all that, right? She could have done that, but she chose not to do that. She's a professor. She's like, no, you got to know my brain before you get to the booty, right? So you got to come correct. Like you got to, so with when it comes to the money thing, I don't want everybody in my financial business. When I was dating, I didn't want every woman to know how much money I had. No, I need to know what kind of person you are. You need to know Boyce first and like him before you get access to any of the stuff that Boyce may have. Because I can smell a gold digger from a mile away. And believe me, when you have money and you have status and you have power and you're traveling all around the world giving speeches for $10,000 a pop, and, and then okay, and then actually financially okay with turning down those speeches because you just don't feel like doing it. You have women coming from everywhere, and because a lot of them smell money and they smell all the things that they're attracted to, and that's okay. That's very natural, actually. Biology says that women are naturally attracted to men who have wealth and status and power and all these things. So I don't have a problem with that. The issue though is, can you also see the things that matter? Are you going to eat your dinner before you get to the dessert? Because some people jump straight to the dessert, right? They jump straight to the woman's booty and don't get to know her soul, her mind, and her brain, right? Some women jump straight to a man's money and don't get to know him as a person. Obviously, women like that are not quality women, in my view, because those are the women that are going to dump you as soon as your bank account gets low, right? And that's not somebody you want to try to go through life with, because life can be difficult. You need somebody that's got some strength and integrity. Anyway, so let me keep going. Um, let's see here. Ingrid says, "Don't worry about how much money Dr. Boyce have. Go make your millions." That's true. Right? That's a great point. Somber says, "You speak of critical thinking skills, right? I think my question is very fair and intelligent." Yes, it is. And I'm not at all criticizing your question, Songbird. And I hope I didn't hurt your feelings or anything like that. Who knows? Maybe that triggered a couple of thoughts in me. But it's really, really true. Truth is, like, I mean, I don't like even proving that I have money. I just will say, yeah. And the people that come and work in the Black Business School, most of them are very financially secure. Like the hotel investment group, they've they can show you they've done multi-million-dollar acquisitions. There's a guy who did a whole master class on how to get government grants. I got to go see if that curriculum's still available. This guy literally did like $1 billion in business with the government. It was kind of crazy. So there's a lot of people out there that there are a lot of successful Black people out there. And the other thing too is, remember, like, if we go to a white university, if you go to the University of Texas or something and you're learning business from a business school professor, you don't say to the person, "Well, show me your bank account, and then I'll believe that you understand anything about business," right? You don't do that, right? You would just say, "Okay, well, this person obviously must be qualified because they're teaching at this university." So I kind of, want to get away from, things like that. Like, I'm a professor, I'm a scholar. That's what I take more pride in. The money's easy. It's easy to make money when you have the knowledge that I have. What's your thought on the company Square? I think Square is a good investment. I like Square. Square has good long term power. Um, let's see here. Hamza says, "I don't know if that's making fun of them or just spotting." Okay, yeah, you talking about the rappers? Yeah, rappers. Yeah, I think that's what's interesting too, is that you live in a society, a capitalist society, where people just worship money, and in a very unhealthy way. And one danger of that is that, if let's say I'm a white supremacist, right, and I want to control Black people, here's what I do. I go get the most ignorant, most self-destructive Black person I can find. I'm talking about somebody who, hates his mama and don't take care of his kids and stays high and drunk every day, and kills Black people for a living, and does everything negative that a Black person can do. Hates Black women, whatever, right? I would find that guy, and you know what I would do? If I want Black people to start emulating his behavior, all I would do is give him a lot of money. I would give him money and fame, and that's it. If you give him money and fame, then other people will think that he's a good guy. People will think that he's a successful guy. They'll be giving him NAACP Image Awards and BET Awards because just because I put him on TV and gave him a bunch of money. Because a lot of people cannot see past the money. The shine of the money blinds you to all the things that matter when it comes to having a successful life and being a quality, decent, happy human being, healthy human being, right? So I teach you guys about the money so that you can get enough money where you can learn how to look past the money, right? It's like teaching a baby how to use the bathroom, right? When you potty train a baby, right? You're not training the baby. You're not potty training the baby to use the bathroom because the bathroom should be the thing that they're most obsessed with, right? You wouldn't want your child to grow up and spend the whole day talking about, using the bathroom. Like, I just thought, I got up today, I can't wait till I pee again. I potty this morning. It was the best potty I ever had. I can't wait. I heard that so and so has 10 potties in his house. I want to go to his house so I can just sit and poop all day, right? That would be weird. That would be a mental illness. You don't want your child to grow up like that, right? But potty training your child is very important, right? Well, why is it important? Well, because if you can't handle your business at the potty, then you can't get to these things that are actually important in your day, right? So you imagine an adult who was never potty trained. Well, that adult can't do anything. He can't go to work. He can't live a normal life. He can't have a relationship, right? I mean, my God, ladies, can you imagine dating a man who isn't potty trained? Right? Or fellas, like if you had a girlfriend who said, well, my mommy never taught me to use the potty, so I'm gonna pee on myself all day. Like, that's not a very attractive person. But the reason that you put your energy into potty training your child, and the reason you must do it, is because being potty trained is necessary for you to get to the things that actually matter in your life. So money is kind of the same way. Some people, because they didn't grow up with a lot of money, they get stuck on the money. It's the money, money over everything, money over this, money over that. I need money, 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 money. I do anything for the money, 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 right? And the reason that they think that way is, to some extent, their growth, their intellectual and spiritual growth was stunted by financial deprivation. See, financial deprivation can cause you to be obsessed with the thing that you were deprived of. And so even when you get enough money, even when you've made a ton of money, you're still a slave to the money. Money did not liberate you to focus on the things that matter in life. Money just made you a bigger slave. And so we have a lot of $100 million slaves in our community because they're still stuck on the thing that they used to be obsessed with because they were deprived of it a long time ago. So I talk about money not because money's important. I talk about money because I want you to get to a point where money's not important, where your happiness is important. Like, money allows you the freedom to pursue your happiness. When I talk to my daughter about money, I tell her, I say, look, we're going to get you enough money so that you can do what's going to make you happy. So if you realize that going on a vacation is going to make you happy, you can do it, and money isn't going to stop you. A lot of people can't pursue their happiness because they don't have enough money to do it. If I want you to have enough money where if you realize that you want to help your sister, to overcome her personal struggles, and that sending her $1,000 to get it done, writing the check ain't gonna be nothing but a thing. When you have money, the beauty of having money is that you don't have to think about money. Do you follow what I'm saying? Give me a yes and let me know you get what I'm saying. I'm getting a little deep here, a little philosophical. And I'm not trying to talk over anybody's head. So if I am, I apologize. But I'm not going to dumb it down. I'm not out here trying to be ignorant and typical. I'm trying to actually help you understand things on a deeper level. I'll use my wife as an example. My wife does not care about money very much. My wife is the first person. She's a social worker. My God, right? I'm the financial guy. I'm okay with capitalism to some extent. I don't believe I'm not a complete capitalist, though, to be honest with you. But I talk about money and stocks and investing, and she thinks that's the most boring thing in the world. So my wife is the first one to say, well, money's not that important. Money doesn't matter. Who cares about the money, right? And I just told her one day, I said, the reason that you have the luxury of saying money doesn't matter is because you've never been short on money as an adult. She never went through that. She grew up, super poor. She grew up in Gary, Indiana. And I mean, what it is a black kid in the hood. You go to the skating rink and your mama gives you like $2 and it costs $1.50 to get in. So you can't buy the chips and the drink. You got to pick chips or a drink at the skating rink, because your mama couldn't give you that extra dollar. Like, that was her upbringing. That was mine too. She probably had less money than I did as a family, but our family struggled too. I remember lights getting cut out. Roaches didn't scare me because there were roaches around. Whatever, it was what it was. Things like that. And so, but as an adult, she was taught by her father and her mother to have the values that are conducive to economic preservation. She was never taught to be flashy. She didn't chase material things, Birkin bags, and all that. She didn't care about, necessarily being around men who had a bunch of money. She was kind of taught as a woman to go make her own money, right? And through education and just basic financial responsibility. Buy a house as soon as you can, max out your 401k. The little things that we should be doing if we want to have economic security. So she did all that, right? So she accumulated a decent amount of money on her own. We got together, again, because people on the internet, for some reason, some people became obsessed with our relationship, and they were saying a bunch of things that they had no ability to even know, right? They never met us before, but they were speculating. They speculated, some people speculated that she got with me because I have money or whatever. And the reality is that she had her own money. She's a full professor. She has plenty of wealth on her own. But I told her, I said, the reason that you don't think money is important is because you um, made yourself financially secure enough that you don't have to think about money when you're making decisions with your life. Also, you were smart with how you selected the men that you chose to affiliate yourself with. She was not a person that would marry a financially irresponsible man. Some people will marry somebody just because they look good, even though their whole life is a mess. Some people will marry somebody because the sex is good, even if that person is making a long string of terrible decisions that are going to ruin their life. They're in it for the short term gratification of the high of being with somebody that they're attracted to, without thinking about the long term pain that's going to be caused when this person makes one stupid decision after another, right? So when she met men, she was approached by all types of men. The dope boys that had big money. She was approached by the NBA players, who had money and 6'8" and whatever. She was approached by the smart guys, the smart nerdy guys like me. She was approached by a lot of different types of guys. And one thing that she picked in her ex-husband and in me was both of us are financially responsible people. And I don't think that was accidental. And I said, so you just made good choices. You invested your money. You weren't tying yourself down to financially stupid men, and so you've been financially secure. So that's why you have the luxury of saying money does not matter. So my point is to say that if you want to look at sort of the trajectory of the way I talk about economics and the way I teach, is I want you to have the luxury of being in a space where money doesn't matter. But that's really going to require you to have a value system that is almost completely disconnected from the value systems of mainstream society. Most of mainstream society, in terms of the messages that are consistently given to Black people, are absolutely horrendous. I mean, absolutely horrendous. If you want to see an example, go watch the BET Awards. My God. I mean, if you want to talk about just promoting like all the wrong stuff, all the wrong mindsets, right? Everything that's going to keep you unhappy and broke and dysfunctional and stressed out and miserable and oppressed. That's what they do. They are an oppression factory. They mass produce Black oppression at an epic industrial scale. And so many people take that in and they internalize that. And then when they're oppressed, they have no idea how it happened. They literally don't know. Because, well, why is that? Well, because they haven't taken the time to slow it down and look at what messages you're consuming. So that's all I would just say to you guys is like, look, I mean, the answer's out there. The solutions are right in front of you. Everything that you want in terms of what it takes to have a healthy family, a healthy body, a healthy mind, a healthy bank account, all those solutions are right there in front of you. The reason you might miss them is because some of them are not very popular, because Black self-destruction is at an all-time high. It is as popular as as Popeye's chicken, right? And literally, people are taking it in and consuming it on a daily basis, and it just makes it hilarious to watch when you're sort of. I laugh and cry at the same time because a lot of people just don't get that. So anyway, doctor, the word is propaganda. Yeah, I think that's a good word. Kodo Cotton. By the way, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button. And allblackeconomics.com. That's where you can get a free copy of my book. It takes a village to raise the bar, a new paradigm for Black America. The book is free, so feel free to go to allblackeconomics.com if you'd like to take a look at it and read it as a family. It's a short read. The stock market's going down at the moment, says Chris. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, what the hell? Songbird says, what makes the Black businesses better than other financial products? Warren Buffett basically said all the things you were saying for free. Own a business, index funds don't sell. Well, Songbird, that's a legitimate question. What I would say that makes our work different from standardized financial education is that All the models, remember, when you have a PhD, you don't read books, you write books, right? We're not here to regurgitate ideas from other people. We actually are able to take those ideas, dissect them at a molecular level, and recraft them to make them applicable to specific use cases that you're not going to find in a textbook. So a lot of the things that we talk about in terms of not like I'm not a finance professor who happens to be black. I'm a black man who happens to be a finance professor. So everything that I break down for you, all the models that we put together in the Black Business School, which again they're patented, trademarked, we own these models. These are designed specifically to solve one problem, and that's it. That one problem is the racial wealth gap. That's it, and not just to close the gap and make us equal. We don't even believe in equality. We believe in black excellence. We believe in black people winning the race, not tying the race. You don't run a race to tie. You don't play in the Super Bowl so hoping that you can tie the other team. We run the race in order to win. So we want our children to win. And so as a result of that, we have different models that we put together that you'll never hear Warren Buffett state any of these models. But these are models. For example, one of the models we use for children is the Poise model. The Poise model stands for producer, owner, investor, saver, entrepreneur, and it's based on tapping into the child's subconscious mind through repetition. Remember, my wife is a full professor of social work and an expert on the subconscious mind. So she says that the subconscious mind is impacted by three things: trauma, which we black people have plenty of trauma, repetition, and also symbolism. So with children, our children's program, for example, we put you in a position where you can actually take control of your child's subconscious mind before media does, before the educational system does, before white supremacy does, through primarily through two things: not trauma. We don't want to traumatize anybody, but through repetition and symbolism. So in the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program, when your kids learn the Poise model, producer, owner, investor, saver, entrepreneur, that allows repetition. You can have them repeat those words repeatedly over and over and over again, and that'll sink into their subconscious mind. The KID model stands for knowledge, investment, discipline. I explain exactly precisely how to turn your black child into a millionaire. These things, and then the symbolism comes in where at the end of the program, after your child completes all the self-study exams, they become eligible for a baby bachelor degree. And the baby bachelor's degree allows them to walk away saying, I have a degree from the Black Business School, and I learned from a college professor when I was 7 years old. That right there is going to substantially increase the odds that your child is a millionaire, and definitely almost virtually guarantee that your child is not going to be like other people's children. Most black children that grow into black adults, many of our people struggle financially. They're stressed out. They hate their jobs. They're worried about where the next dollar is coming from. They don't have any assets. They don't know what to do next. They feel deprived because the school system didn't teach them certain things. Well, we actually teach our folks that you are the school system. You have to be the school system. You have to get off the grid, because if you don't, then your children are going to be lost, right? So it doesn't mean you don't send your kids to school. Our kids go to school. All of our kids, go to school just like your kids do. But when my kids come home, I teach them things. I put together models specifically for my 10-year-old daughter to help her understand all the things she needs to know to be incredibly successful. So, for example, we have something we call the PPP plan. Like I said, remember the PPP loans? She said, yeah. I said, well, the PPP plan for success is persistence, preparation, and practice. Persistence, preparation, and practice. That's how you're going to be successful. And that model is specifically designed for my daughter because I think she can be the next Tyler Perry, except better, obviously. So I talked to her about Tyler Perry's business model and how you can't sort of do what white people do and just go to a bunch of, when you become an actress, singer, dancer, and all these things she wants to do. I don't want to see you in line at auditions where you're competing against 300 other girls trying to get a role. If you learn how to make your own movies and write your own plays and do your own productions and fund your own operations, then you can make yourself into the star. You can make a movie and make yourself the star. So we talk about everything from business to how she can be the best in the world at what she does as an actress and as a singer, and how she can also have the freedom to pursue the things that she wants to pursue in life, right? So the idea of the Black Business School is we're not the white business school in blackface. Unfortunately, a lot of HBCUs don't really craft their models, their economic models, specifically for the building of black wealth. They don't operate on the powernomics philosophy. Why is that? Well, because HBCUs were not, they're wonderful places. They're a lot of fun. Like, we want to go hang out with a lot of other black people and meet girls and go to step shows and all that. They're good for that. Also, they're really good at training black people on the things that white people are trained on. So they produce the best dentists, doctors, lawyers, all that. No disrespect on that whatsoever. But here's where they come up short. Where they come up short is that the reason many HBCUs exist, remember, a lot of HBCUs are named after white people. Howard's named after a white man. Spelman's named after a white woman, right? Now, why would Spelman and Howard be named after white people? Well, the reason these HBCUs are named after white people is because they were created by white people in the image of white people. They were designed to give black people the opportunity to learn the skills necessary to go and work for white people and to build white owned companies. I'm not disrespecting them. I'm not attacking them. But that's why they exist. Go look it up. Go do the research. They exist because they want to produce more employees for Procter and Gamble and for Goldman Sachs and for Merrill Lynch. That's what they do. That's what they do well. What they were not designed to do is to build the black community, right? They were designed to give black people the opportunity to leave the black community to go to the white community so they can build wealth alongside white people. And so it's because that answers your question. That answers the question that many of you may have is, how can we have all these HBCUs, thousands of black college graduates, thousands of black politicians, thousands of black celebrities, and still have black wealth going down? Wouldn't you think that if you have all these so-called successful black people, that your wealth will be going up, right? That's like you taking your medicine every day, and you're like, I keep taking the medicine every day like I'm supposed to. In fact, I double my dosage, and the more of the medicine I take, the sicker I get. How is it that I keep taking the medicine, I keep getting sicker? The more of this medicine I take, the sicker I get. And then one day somebody comes up and says, "Oh, I read the label. You're not taking medicine. You're eating poison. We're going to get you on new medication." So that's what we're doing. The Black Business School is new educational medication so that you can actually get well as opposed to continuously getting sick. Because we don't know everything. I don't know everything. I don't proclaim to know everything. But one thing I do know, and I hope you can agree with me, give me a yes in the chat if you can agree with me, is that what you've been doing to this point has not been working. What you've been doing to this point has been an epic failure, a miserable, horrible failure. I mean, really. So, I just will tell you guys, like, if you don't change the model, it ain't gonna work. So, I wanted to deep dive on and answer that one question about what's the difference between what we do versus what a Warren Buffett talks about. Oh, there's a world of difference, because I don't. Every time I talk about wealth or think about wealth, I'm thinking about it within the context of one key problem: how do we get black people where we need to get economically? You look at the black male cannot get the same economic education as a white male. Why? Well, because the black male does not have the same life experience as the white male. The black male does not have the same opportunities as the white male. The black male does not have the same access to capital as the white male. The black male does not have the same support for his ventures as the white male. The black male has a whole different set of realities to deal with than the white male. So when you educate your black son economically and you train him the same way you train a white boy, don't be surprised when it doesn't work because he ain't white. He's not white. One example: black people have a much harder time getting capital than white people do. White people can go and they can say things that I've never heard a black person say, like, I borrowed $300,000 from my Uncle Fred. How many black people can go borrow $300 from their Uncle Fred to start their business? Do you know a lot of black people who can do that? Who got an uncle they can go, hey, Uncle Fred, I want to borrow $300,000 because I have a great idea. No, I know most black people I know can't even borrow $3,000 from Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred might be in jail right now. Uncle Fred might be cracked out.
He might be an alcoholic. Or at the very least, Uncle Fred is a regular working guy who can't imagine coming up with $3,000, $30,000, or $100,000 in loan for your business, right? I'm not stereotyping the experience of the black male, but all of us got an Uncle Fred. In fact, I literally have an Uncle Freddie who 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 didn't even have a place to live, right? We were scooping Uncle Freddie up off the damn sidewalk. Like Uncle Freddie had a drinking problem his whole entire life. So I couldn't borrow nothing from my Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred was trying to borrow money from me. So the black male experience is different. The black male experience means that you can get all the degrees, all the credentials, have a master's degree, just like the white boy, and you won't get that same damn job. Or if you get the job, you will be let go first. You won't get those same opportunities in corporate America that he's going to get. The world is slanted against the black male. So what does that mean? That means that the black male's pathway to success when you're training your son, it has to be different from the way you would train him if he was white. You can't just have him sort of do the same things that a white guy would do, because he's going to do those things and it's not going to work. And then he's going to be sad. And then somebody will come along and say, well, oh, you poor baby, that's racism. And that's why you're destined to fail because you're black. Being black does not mean that you're destined to fail. I believe being black means you're destined to be great. But you got to tap in. You got to double down on who you are and let go of trying to be who you are not. See, I didn't find my real success. Don't get me wrong. I had a little bit of white boy success. When I was in college, I was the #1 finance student on the entire University of Kentucky campus. Not making this up. I won the Wall Street Journal Outstanding Graduating Senior Award. I was the #1 black student on campus. They would every year, I saw a list where they published all the GPAs of every black student on campus. Every semester, I didn't just have the highest GPA, I had the highest GPA by a long shot. The #2 person was way behind me, wasn't even in the same time zone. Went and got my master's degrees. I was teaching college students at the age of 23. When I got my PhD, I was the only black person on the planet to get a PhD in finance during the year 2002. These are all facts. This is all true. I was on my way to having a very healthy career as a black scholar at white universities. Right? I was a superstar in my field. But here's the thing: the racism never went away. Racism and the unfairness that you experience in the workplace, the imbalance that we all experience, the frustrations we experience, this idea that you're going to work and you're doing the best you can, but yet you're still kind of being punished and disrespected. That I felt that even at the top. I was very surprised. I said, wait a minute, I have all the education a person can have. I have more education than damn near everybody I've ever met. I've worked harder than everybody I've ever met. And yet I'm still dealing with the scourge of racism, and it was pretty terrible. And so I got to Syracuse University, and it was just a horrible experience. I'm surrounded by all these white people. I'm trying to do black stuff, right? I'm trying to do what a lot of people do. A lot of people come in and they say things like, hey, I want to be I want to be the first black whatever, and I'm going to go in and change the system from the inside out. You know what I'm talking about? Many of you have heard that, right? That's what you're encouraged to do. So I was kind of thinking that way. Like, if I get in here and I do my best and I kick butt, then they're going to have to promote me. No, they don't. They don't have to promote shit. They don't have to promote you to anything. They owe you nothing. They don't have to do anything for you. And then here's the other thing too: when they discriminate against you because you're black, you have no recourse. You're not gay. You can't go to court and say, well, they wouldn't hire me or promote me because I date a man, right? You're not a white woman. You can't say like, oh well, I went to work and I think he looked at my booty and now I deserve $10 million. Like, you can't do those sorts of things. When you're black and you get discriminated against, they just say, so what? We've been doing this for 400 years. So you don't have any recourse. And they don't owe you a promotion. There's no point where you're so good that they have to promote you. That's what we think. We think that if you just show up and you just kill the game and you show them how smart you are, that they're just going to give you that promotion because now they're going to realize how smart a black person can be. And that's just kind of fool's gold in my view, because they already know how smart you are. They already know how great you are. And that might be exactly why they don't give you the same opportunities. You really think when you go up in that company that's never hired a black person in the last 50 years, pay attention now. You really think when you go up in this company that ain't hired a black person since the 70s, you really think that you're going to be the first smart black person they've ever seen? Really? Seriously, give me a yes or no. Like, really? It's like, you really think you're the first smart Negro? Like, you don't think your daddy, your mom, your grandmama, you don't think they were smart too? You don't think they showed up ready to go? They had more discipline than us. 50 years ago, black people had far more discipline when they were on this stuff because they had no margin of error. You got at least a little bit of margin of error. They had no margin of error. So they were on top of their game just like you were. So this whole idea that somehow, because you're gonna finally be the first qualified black person they ever saw, that they're gonna give you all these promotions, that's kind of a silly way to think. That's like, what that makes me think about? It makes me think about those relationships where anybody ever had a relationship with somebody where they tell you that every ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend they ever had was a complete dog, and that every person they've ever dated has hurt them? Has anybody ever had a relationship with somebody like that? And then maybe you're silly enough to say, well, all the guys before her used to hurt her. They really hurt her. They let her down. But I'm gonna do different. I'm the first guy she could ever really trust. You ever been in that experience where, or you think you're the first woman that is gonna really treat him the way he deserves to be treated because all those other women were bitches, right? You ever hear that, right? Well, that happens in relationships, right? And then you find out that it's not them that's the problem. It's the person. It's not that they're exes that's the problem. The problem is the person you're dating. The problem is them. The problem is that every relationship they have, they write the end of the story before the story even begins. So every relationship they're in is going to end tragically because they've got these deep-seated issues that go all the way back to childhood. But because black people don't want to get no damn goddamn therapy, we want to just carry that around like a damn spiritual STD. So you have people that have these spiritual and psychological STDs that are infecting other people, and they don't want to deal with it because they don't want to go to get therapy to get that shot of penicillin that they need in order for their spirit to be right. So you fell for the trick. A lot of people do. Don't feel bad. A lot of us do, right? So to me, when I think about a lot of these corporations that will claim to love diversity but have a horrible diversity record. Syracuse University, when I used to teach there, like now they're starting to talk more about, since Cornel West went through his thing at Harvard and Nicole Hannah Jones went through her thing in North Carolina, they're starting to talk about the racism in academia and what black professors go through and all that. And I'm reading the articles. I'm like, yeah, I went through that. Oh yeah, I understand that. My wife is reading the article. Now, mind you, she actually became a full professor of social work, which is very rare. It's very rare for even white people to become full professors. So she was able to break through the system, but she sees the racism loud and clear. She sees how her university treats black people. She also sees the fact that they're on their entire campus, they only have one black male professor. Out of hundreds of professors, only one is a black male. He's not even African American. So that's a clear pattern of racism against African Americans. So we understand this. We've seen this. So here's the thing. When you're analyzing something like that, you have to see it for what it is. You have to understand that, that when they tell you, like, oh, well, the reason we don't have any black people is because we can't find any qualified black people. No, the reason you don't have any black people working for your company is because you don't hire qualified black people when they come knock at the door. Like, that racism, that systematic racism is very clear, it's very real, it's very deliberate, and there's not much recourse. Right. So again, if I was sitting down with Joe Biden and Joe Biden is trying to tell me that Black Lives Matter or they want to do a Juneteenth holiday, I say no. How about you create clear federal law that allows people that endure discrimination on their job to be able to sue and to get the same treatment that they would get if they were white women? Right. Give them the white woman privilege of being able to sue for 10 million, $100 million and get paid every time these companies discriminate. So when you talk about economic models, this is the point I was getting at, right? And I went on a little bit of a tangent to explain that because I think that when you're talking about these systems, you have to understand that the only solution that will work for black people is one that is specifically designed for black people. Systematic racism is the virus, and you need a cure. You need an antidote that is going to be specifically designed for the DNA of your experience in this country. You cannot simply do exactly what white people are doing and somehow solve problems that are only unique to black people. And so when we created the Black Business School, that was our objective. Our objective was to say, how do we dig deep into exactly what Black families and Black people are experiencing, what the Black man experiences, what the Black woman experiences, what the Black child experiences, what the Black senior citizen experiences, what Black families experience, all these things, and come up with specific solutions that will allow you to solve those problems so you can find your way to not become equal to white people. There's nothing magical about white people. They don't have fairy dust coming out of their asses. So stop comparing yourself to white people. I don't even like using terms like equality. I don't care about that. But to actually make us our very best, because I believe that when we are truly excellent, when you're talking about B1 families, I mean, some of y'all got stuff going on in your families where I'm looking at your kids. When you tell me what you're doing with your kids, I'm thinking, oh yeah, that kid's going to definitely be a millionaire. See, I want to see a scenario where when you specifically apply the solutions that specifically work for you, your children are the absolute best they can be. They are the absolute best in the world. And Black people become as recognized, B1 people, B1 Black people become as recognized for our ability to develop industry and wealth as we are for our ability to dribble basketballs, throw footballs, twerk, and rap. Right? I want as much respect as we get for twerking and rapping and hairstyles and whatever else that people think is important. I want us to get the same degree of recognition for our children's ability to just build wealth. And that's going to be interesting, because that's going to be a whole new set of problems. Your grandchildren's problems will be, they're going to have haters to the ceiling. If you ever um, if you ever want to have a lot of haters, go out here and really start winning. The Jewish community is winning. That's why they have so many haters. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes they do stuff that's ridiculous. The stuff they're doing to the Palestinians is unacceptable. But one thing that people do is they look at that little community, they say, my God, how did 2.3% of the entire American population get to the point where they own damn near all the banks, where they're owning all the media outlets? Whether BET is run by the Sumner Redstone family. I believe they're from the Jewish community. Viacom. That's all of that, right? How did they get a bunch of the Supreme Court justices? How did they control Harvard University to the point where Cornel West, one of the alleged greatest Black scholars in history, gets booted out because he took the side of the Palestinians? You can't tell me that wasn't that wasn't some Israeli stuff going on up in their school. How did they get that power? Well, there's a process to that. There's a strategy to that. And some of y'all get it. And you're the people that matter the most, because you're the ones that are going to form the core of what we're going to be able to accomplish over the next 100 years. And by the time this all comes to fruition, all of us will be dead. And a lot of your children will be dead. But I'm telling you, your grandchildren are going to rock it. They're going to rock it. So keep going. Keep believing in yourself. Don't give up. Because we're gonna win. We ain't built to lose. I don't lose. I don't lose. That's just what it is. I don't lose, so you don't lose. None of us lose. We will not lose. So hit the thumbs up button, hit the share, subscribe button. I'm gonna go. And also, as a reminder, don't forget that Wednesday we do our book club. We're reading Black Labor, White Wealth with Dr. Claude Anderson. If you'd like to join us, you can actually sign up at blackkeystogreatness.com. It's totally free. You also get access to my life class and everything else. So feel free to go to blackkeystogreatness.com. Please have a great day, guys. And I hope your stocks do really well. I'm about to go check the market and make some moves with my own portfolio. I'll probably go buy a bunch of stuff, since everything's cheap. When it's cheap, that's an opportunity to buy. So go buy some stock and make yourself rich. So take care. God bless you. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.